Cheap watches that hold incredible value for money. I think every watch collector is interested in these type of watches, but they can be hard to find through your own research without actually buying a watch. So in today's video, we're going to review 3 watches that are the definition of value for money. They all cost different prices, ranging from $70 to some pretty expensive watches. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. On watches and take part in group discussions which may be posted to YouTube.
Now to begin here, looking at the first watch, and this is perhaps the most obvious choice when looking in this direction, and that is just the Casio G-Shock. And we could just put this as any Casio, even like the entry-level Casio F91Ws. These certainly apply as well, but the G-Shock, in terms of its mass market appeal, as well as just respect from even the most seasoned collectors, very rarely do you see a watch in this price range that has just this mass acclaim and appreciation across all fronts. If you want to go for the more traditional DW5600, that really is the traditional architecture of a G-Shock and will be the most mass appealing, I think the most stylish as well if you are maybe leaning in that direction. But you get all the traditional perks that come with a G-Shock. The watch is of course made for robustness, as well as just offering just great no-nonsense wear. And even the most seasoned collectors, people that are spending hundreds of $1,000s on their watch collection, chances are they still wear their G-Shock time and time again. And I know I'm the same way. In specific environments, when you don't want to bang something up, the G-Shock always going to get some love. And I think there's nobody that's going to hate on a G-Shock, no matter where you are in your watch collecting journey.
Now, we have covered the G-Shock a few times on this channel, but Teddy does make some awesome points here. G-Shock is built to last you a long time. They were originally intended to be affordable watches for everyday life, but they are now being collected by watch enthusiasts. And some people have even started custom G-Shock companies. So a great start of the video, G-Shocks are god tier.
So Citizen, let's be frank, they're kind of a mixed bag compared to Seiko. Seiko is a bit more of an enthusiast brand and I think does a better job with catering to that crowd. Citizen hits it on 2 fronts. You have the stuff that's probably not best suited for, of course, high-end collectors that won't really get any appreciation. So I kind of call these like the mall watch Citizen watches, and I think you'll know what I'm talking about if you ever just walk into a Dillard's or anything of that sort. But then on the other side, you also have their ProMaster collection, which are made to really embody, I think, the general just perspective that someone who is into watches would value. Their dive watches are some of the best value for money. You also have the Navy Hawk, the Night Hawk that are part of the ProMaster collection that also have a lot of fandom around it. And it kind of hits it on all fronts in terms of what the ProMaster collection is doing, kind of that air, sea, and ground in terms of its approach. And these are the watches, if you're looking at Citizen, that will get the most respect, and no one's going to knock the guy when wearing a Citizen. In terms of the dive watches and ProMasters, these are, I know, highly respected as well in their field.
As Teddy said, nobody should ever knock you for wearing a Citizen watch. They're reliable and have some pretty interesting movements. The ProMaster series, in my opinion, is the ultimate value for money. However, these watches are going to run you back around $300 to $500, which from some people's perspective is still pretty expensive. However, you're going to be getting some pretty good bang for your buck, as Teddy explained.
Now next up is Bulova, and for Bulova, I would say the best watch, specific watch here, is going to be the Lunar Pilot in terms of getting some respect. Now this is a watch on the surface that I think is very much misunderstood. There is significant history behind this piece. Now the Lunar Pilot is inspired by a actual moon watch design from Bulova back in the 1970s that was worn by Apollo astronaut David Scott in the Apollo 15 mission. He actually wore his specific prototype model on the moon's surface, which then sold at auction for $1.5 million. And this Lunar Pilot is the closest representation of that. You're getting a high-frequency quartz movement, but the looks department, this thing just looks expensive. You got the history and the ties behind it, and a design that really is, I would say, timeless. So this is certainly one that will get a ton of respect, and for south of $600, can't do much better if you're looking for a chronograph in this range with this amount of history.
Now we have to finish things off with the chronograph. The majority of chronograph watches look expensive and can make you think of the Rolex Daytona. However, the Bulova Lunar Pilot is a bit different. In my opinion, this watch doesn't copy the Daytona model, but it still looks extremely expensive. And for $525, some people may claim it's still pretty expensive, but the quality and history of this watch just speaks for itself. Let me know in the comments which watch you would consider buying, and leave a like if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe to help us hit that goal of 1,000 subscribers, guys.